Welcome back, everyone. At this time, I would like to introduce Fred Earnest, President and CEO of Vista Gold Corp. Fred introduced Vista Gold to our viewers in September of this year, and he is here today to share some exciting updates about the company. Vista Gold trades on the New York Stock Exchange American and TSX under the symbol VGZ. Welcome back to the conference, Fred. What's your update today?
Thank you, Anna. Well, it's been, we're coming to the end of a very exciting year. You got a few slides to share with everybody just to help them understand, what's happened. For those who may be new to the story, we, as you indicated, we trade on the NYSE American and the TSX exchanges under the symbol VGZ. At the end of the third quarter, we had $19 million in cash and no debt. And as a corporation, we're building value based on the strengths of our Mt Todd gold project, where we've demonstrated financial strength and technical viability through a feasibility study on a very large-scale development project that was completed and updated earlier this year. During the year, we've completed a 7,000-meter drilling program. Last meters were drilled last night, our time. We are evaluating a project targeting a reserve grade of a gram per ton with an initial capex of less than $400 million. That's about a 60% decrease, with only about a 50% decrease in gold production. So we're excited about that and hope to be able to make an announcement here shortly. I'll talk about that in a minute. But overall, we're positioning Mt Todd as a leading development opportunity, and at the same time exercising the discipline necessary to realize the best value at the right time for our shareholders. So just kind of talking, just to orient people, for those who may be new, the project's located in the northern part of the Northern Territory of Australia, about 250 kilometers southeast of Darwin. It's a brownfields project. It's large scale. It's permitted. It's ready to build. The picture on the left kind of gives people an idea what the project area looks like. This is a site that we could construct on the start of the year if that were our intent. So as far as an update goes, this drilling program that we just completed, divided into two phases. What we call phase one is Batman North. That's the area with the drill holes located here at the north end of the existing pit shell. We drilled 11 holes, about almost 3,000 meters. It defined mineralized boundaries and updated mineralogical information. And the outcome of that, now that we've got all that data and taken a look, we think that that's going to result in a very modest increase in resources for the project, particularly in the north end of the project. Phase two has been drilling on what we call the South Crosslode, where we've drilled 23 drill holes. A little over 4,000 meters have been drilled. We targeted shallow mineralization, and what we've encountered is two distinct mineralization styles. And if I just go to the next slide here, I can talk about those in a little bit more detail. The near surface mineralization, anything shallower than 75 meters, exists in sheeted veins. This is a very similar mineralization to what we see in the Batman deposit. We're seeing similar widths of individual veins. Vein densities have been similar, and the grades in the down the holes have been similar to what we see drilling in the Batman deposit. For example, what we saw in phase one. We typically in this upper part see coarser grain sediments. They're less silicified, and there's a lower degree of alteration. That's probably a function of greater distance from the invariant intrusive. However, and what's really exciting for us is the deeper mineralization, that mineralization that we've encountered deeper than 100 meters below the surface, where we've encountered a different type of vein. They're wider veins. They're more distinct. There's not as much other vein material around them. And these more distinct and wider veins and mineralized assemblages we're seeing better grades over wider distances. For example, in the first part of the drilling program, results that we've announced to date, we've reported in one hole half a meter at 50 grams per ton. That gives us a grade thickness of 25 grams per ton meter. Another hole had 1 meter of 12.57 grams. Another one had 2.3 meters of 7.93. And then we had another hole about halfway through the program that had a meter at 25.89 grams per ton. This is really exciting. This is a different style of mineralization than what we see in the Batman deposit. We're trying to figure out the geometry of these high-grade intercepts and establish connections. But we now believe that with additional drilling, that these deeper intercepts and thicker intercepts and higher grade intercepts represent an opportunity for potential higher grade underground mining in the future. So this has been very exciting to see something different than what we typically see at Mt Todd and what we've drilled predominantly in the previous 70,000 meters at the Batman deposit. The other thing that I alluded to is the start of this new feasibility study. Mt Todd is a large, high-quality gold deposit, one of the most attractive mining jurisdictions in the world. And we've designed a project that's very large, 50,000 tons a day, with a capex of $1 billion. But we are on the cusp of starting a feasibility study in which we're going to be targeting a significant increase in our reserve grade. We're targeting a gram per ton. We plan to accomplish that by raising our cutoff grade. As I indicated previously, the capital, the initial capex that we're targeting is about a 60% reduction. That results from having a project that throughput-wise is about a third the size. Production that we think we can achieve on that size of a plant is in the range of 150 to 200,000 ounces of gold per year. We'll continue to incorporate things that reduce our development risk, like mining, contract mining, and third-party power generation, while maintaining the opportunity and the optionality for expansion. In summary, what we're really trying to do is develop and demonstrate that Mt Todd is an especially attractive, ready-to-build development project with all of the permits already in place. And as such, we're positioning Mt Todd for value creation while we exercise a disciplined strategy to realize the best value. In other words, to complete a transaction that rewards our shareholders. So that's, in just a nutshell, that's the update. And I'm happy to take any questions that people might have.
Great. Yes, a few questions for you. If you could comment on the timeline for production, taking into account the smaller size project.
Absolutely. We're anticipating that we'll have this feasibility study for this 150 to 200,000 ounce per year project completed by mid-year next year. Let's operate on the premise that we're going to complete a transaction by the end of the year, and we're completely open to what that transaction might look like. I think that a decision could be made to build Mt Todd by the middle of 2026, and that we're looking at an 18-month construction period. So that's the timeline.
And Devin asks if you can speak to your company's current burn rate and how much runway you have with your existing capital.
Yeah, like I said, we've got $19 million in cash. Our fixed costs for maintaining Mt Todd between corporate and our costs in Australia are about $7 million a year. We're winding up the drill program. There'll be a couple of $100,000 or so that hit the books from that in the first quarter of next year. And then the cost of the feasibility study, which we're guessing will be a little bit more than $2 million.
And Esther mentions, Esther might have missed this statement, but do you own the water rights? Can you clarify that?
We have at Mt Todd, we're water harvesters. We have a dry season and wet season. During the wet season, we receive about 1.3 meters of rain. We have the permits and authorizations in place to capture and store the water that we will need for the operation. So that would be our water use permit.
And with Mt Todd, your strategy is to find a partner to help build that. Is that still your strategy? And would you be willing to sell the project and or the company?
We're looking for a transaction, Anna, and whether that's a corporate level, a project level transaction, or whether it's the formation of a joint venture to develop the project, what we want at the end of the day is to create value for shareholders. We are open to consider any option that leads down the path of value creation.
And if you move forward with a feasibility study for an alternative scale project, how long might it take to complete, and when would you expect to announce the results?
Yeah, we anticipate that we'll have this study completed by the middle of next year. we'll leverage off of the immense amount of work that's already been completed for the previous feasibility study. And we anticipate that we'll be able to announce results in the first part of the third quarter.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for this update, and we look forward to following you along in the new year. And Happy New Year to you, Fred.
Happy New Year to you. Thanks.
All right, everyone, we'll be right back.